My girlfriend texted, "I'm in the ER. I took too many pills because you ignored me." I drove like a maniac to the hospital, but her name wasn't on any list. I checked her location. She was at a luxury spa, laughing by the pool with a guy I'd never seen before. I'm 30 years old, work in software development, and until 3 weeks ago I thought I was in a loving relationship with someone who just needed a little extra emotional support. Her name was Maya. We'd been together for 2 years. Looking back now, I can pinpoint exactly when things started feeling off. But at the time, I was too invested to see the pattern forming right in front of me. It started small. Maya would send me paragraph-long texts if I didn't respond within 30 minutes. If I was in a meeting or had my phone on silent during a work call, I'd come back to messages asking if I was okay, if something was wrong, if I was mad at her. At first, I thought it was sweet that she cared so much. Then it became exhausting. Then it became suffocating. The day everything blew up was a Tuesday. I had back-to-back meetings from 9 a.m. until noon. I told Maya the night before that I'd be unavailable most of the morning. She said she understood. At 10:47 a.m., my phone started buzzing non-stop. I glanced at it during a bathroom break between meetings. 17 messages from Maya. The first few were normal. "Hope your meetings are going well, babe." Then, "Miss you." Then, "Are you there?" Then they got progressively more frantic. "Why aren't you answering? Did I do something wrong? Please just tell me if you're upset with me." I sent back a quick message. "Still in meetings. I'll call you at lunch. Love you." I thought that would hold her over. I was wrong. At 11:23 a.m., I got the text that made my blood run cold. "I'm in the ER. I took too many pills because you ignored me. I'm so sorry. I just wanted you to notice me." I ran out of that meeting room so fast I didn't even grab my laptop. My hands were shaking as I called her. No answer. I called again, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Which hospital? I'm coming right now." Nothing. My mind was racing through worst-case scenarios. I'd heard stories about people crying wolf with this stuff. But what if this time it was real? What if she actually did something and I wasn't there? I drove to the nearest hospital, doing 70 in a 45 zone. I didn't care. When I got to the ER desk, I was out of breath, probably looking like a madman. "I need to find Maya Chen. She texted me that she was brought here. Pills. Overdose," I stammered to the receptionist. The woman typed into her computer, her face neutral and professional. "I'm not showing anyone by that name checked in today." "Can you check again?" "Please. Maya Chen, Chen." She checked, then checked another system. "Sir, there's no one here by that name. Are you sure she said this location?" That's when something clicked in my brain. A terrible, sinking suspicion. I pulled out my phone and opened the Find My Friends app. We'd shared locations about 6 months into dating because Maya said it made her feel safer when I traveled for work. I pulled up her location. The pin wasn't at a hospital. It was at the Serenity Springs Spa and Resort, about 20 minutes outside the city. An expensive place I'd mentioned wanting to take her to for her birthday. The pin was active, moving slightly, definitely real time. I stood in that ER waiting room, people coughing and bleeding around me, staring at that little blue dot on my screen. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were completely still. I felt this eerie calm wash over me. I got back in my car and drove to the spa. I didn't speed this time. I actually drove exactly the speed limit. My mind completely blank except for one thought looping over and over. I want to see this with my own eyes. The Serenity Springs Resort has this beautiful outdoor pool area visible from the parking lot. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase it to anyone driving by, probably as advertising. I parked and walked toward the building. That's when I saw her. Maya was in a white bikini I'd never seen before, lying on a lounge chair by the pool. Her phone was on the table next to her, plugged into a portable charger. She was laughing, head thrown back, at something the guy sitting next to her was saying. He was maybe mid-30s, fit, with that kind of artificial tan that comes from regular tanning bed visits. He had his hand on her thigh. I stood there for probably 30 seconds just watching. She looked happy, relaxed, not at all like someone who just overdosed and was in an ER fighting for her life. I walked into the spa. The front desk person smiled at me. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to surprise my girlfriend," I said, pointing toward the pool, the woman in the white bikini. "Is there a day pass I can get to go out there?" "Oh, Miss Chen. She's actually here with one of our members, Mr. Richardson. I'd need to check with them first before—" "Don't worry about it," I said. "I'll just text her." I walked back outside where I had a clear view of the pool through the glass. I pulled out my phone and sent her a message. "Just got out of my meetings. How are you feeling? Which hospital are you at? I'm freaking out." I watched her phone light up on the table. She glanced at it, then looked at the guy, rolled her eyes, and turned the phone face down without responding. Then she leaned over and kissed him. I took a photo, then a video. About 15 seconds of her laughing, touching his arm, kissing him again. Then I walked back to my car. Update 1: I didn't confront her at the spa. Part of me wanted to march out there and make a scene, but a bigger part of me realized something. I wanted evidence. I wanted her to hang herself with her own lies. So I drove home, sent her another concerned message. "Maya, please answer me. I'm really worried." And I waited. She finally responded at 3:47 p.m. "I'm okay." They pumped my stomach. "I'm so embarrassed. Can you pick me up?" I replied. "Of course." "Which hospital?" "St. Mary's." St. Mary's was in the opposite direction from the spa. I told her I'd be there in 20 minutes. Then I drove to St. Mary's and parked in the ER lot. I texted, "I'm here." "Where are you?" 15 minutes of back and forth. She claimed she was in a room but didn't know the number. She said she was confused and groggy. Finally, she said, "Actually, they said I can't have visitors right now." "Can you just wait at home? I'll get an Uber when they release me." "Sure, baby. Whatever you need. I love you. Love you too." I drove home and waited. While I waited, I did something I'm not proud of but don't regret. I went through our phone records. I'd been paying for both our phone lines on a family plan. I logged into the account and pulled up the last 3 months of her call and text logs. There were hundreds of texts and calls to a number I didn't recognize. I ran it through a reverse lookup service. Derek Richardson. I found his Facebook, mutual friends with Maya, tagged at the same gym, photos going back 4 months of him at various events. And there, if you scrolled far enough, was a photo from 2 months ago. Him and Maya at a charity gala, her in a red dress I'd never seen, his arm around her waist. Caption: "Great night with great company." My stomach turned. I kept digging. Her Instagram had stories I'd never paid attention to. She posted constantly when we weren't together. I went through her tagged photos, her location tags. The spa wasn't the first time. There were restaurants I'd never been to with her. Concerts for bands she'd told me she wasn't interested in seeing. Maya got home at 7:30 p.m. She looked perfect. Hair done, makeup light, but clearly fresh, wearing the same sundress she'd left in that morning. No hospital bracelet. No smell of antiseptic. She came through the door with tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry," she said, rushing toward me. "I'm so sorry I scared you." I just felt so alone, and I wasn't thinking clearly, and— "Which room were you in?" I asked calmly. "What?" "At St. Mary's." "Which room?" "I don't—" They moved me around. I was really out of it. "What did they pump your stomach with?" "What's the procedure called?" She stared at me. I could see her brain working, trying to figure out if these were normal concerned boyfriend questions or if I knew something. "Gastric lavage," she said, uncertainty in her voice. "Sounds right," I said. "Must have been scary." She nodded, tears flowing now. "It was terrible. I'm so sorry. I never want to worry you like that again." How was the spa? The tears stopped instantly. Her face went completely blank. The Serenity Springs Resort, I continued, my voice still calm. How was the pool? Water warm enough? I don't know what you're... I pulled out my phone and turned it toward her, showing the video. Her face drained of color. Who's Derek? I asked. He's just a friend. I can explain. You told me you overdosed. You sent me to a hospital. I ran out of work thinking you were dying. I just wanted you to pay attention to me, she shouted, and there it was, the real Maya coming out. You're always working, always in meetings, always too busy for me. I needed to know you still cared. So you faked a suicide attempt while you were at a spa with another man? It's not like that with Derek. He's just... I pulled the phone records, Maya. 4 months of constant contact. I saw the gala photo. I saw everything. She switched tactics then, softening her voice, reaching for my hands. I stepped back. Okay, yes, I've been seeing Derek, but it's not serious. It's not like what we have. You're the one I love. I was just lonely and he gave me attention when you were always busy. But you're who I want to be with. You told me you took too many pills. I was being dramatic. I wanted you to feel what I feel when you ignore me. I was in meetings. For 3 hours. 3 hours where I didn't matter to you. The crazy thing is, I almost felt guilty for a second. That's how good she was at this. 2 years of training me to feel responsible for her emotions, and even now, watching her lies crumble, part of my brain was trying to figure out how I could have prevented this. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get your things and get out of my apartment. You have 20 minutes. Update 2. She didn't leave quietly. There was screaming, crying, threats to actually hurt herself this time, promises that she'd change, accusations that I never really loved her. I recorded all of it on my phone, just in case. Finally, she packed 2 bags and called Derek to pick her up. I watched from the window as she got into his BMW. She was crying on his shoulder as they drove away. By the time they reached the end of my street, she was laughing at something he said. The next morning, I got a call from her mother. Maya had told her I kicked her out for no reason, that I was controlling and abusive, that she was scared of me. I let her mother talk for about 5 minutes before I said, Linda, I'm going to send you something. Watch it before you call me back. I sent her the video of Maya at the spa, screenshots of the I'm in the ER texts with timestamps, and the video of her confession from the night before. Linda called back 30 minutes later, crying, apologizing, saying she didn't know her daughter had become this person. Maya tried a different approach that afternoon. She posted on social media about how she was healing from a toxic relationship and learning to love herself again. Mutual friends started reaching out to me. I didn't respond to most of them, but to the few I was actually close with, I sent them the receipts. The truth spread faster than her lies. Derek apparently didn't know Maya had a boyfriend. She'd told him we'd broken up 3 months ago. When he found out the truth, he called me. That was surreal. Man, I had no idea, he said. She told me you two were done. She said you were just friends helping each other with rent until the lease ended. We were very much together, living together for over a year. Jesus. I'm sorry. I never would have. Look, I ended it with her. This is too messy for me. Appreciate you calling, I said, and I meant it. Maya showed up at my apartment 2 days later. I didn't let her in. We talked through the door. Everyone thinks I'm crazy now, she said. People are calling me a liar. You are a liar. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. You faked a medical emergency while cheating on me. That's not a mistake, that's a pattern. So what, you're just done? 2 years means nothing? 2 years means I wasted 2 years, I said. Lose my number, Maya. I heard her sit down against the door. She stayed there for maybe 10 minutes, crying softly before finally leaving. Update 3. The fallout continued for weeks. Maya tried to paint herself as the victim online, but too many people knew the truth. She eventually deleted all her social media accounts. I heard through mutual friends that she moved back in with her parents. The most disturbing part came about 3 weeks after everything ended. A guy I'd never met messaged me on Instagram. His name was Tyler. He sent me screenshots of texts from 8 months ago. The same texts, word for word. "I'm in the ER. I took too many pills because you ignored me." "She did this to you too?" I asked. "Yeah, man. I drove to the hospital freaking out. She wasn't there. When I confronted her, she said she'd been at her therapist's office dealing with a panic attack and didn't mean the pills thing, literally. Said I misunderstood. I felt like an asshole for doubting her mental health crisis, so I apologized and stayed. Then I found out she was seeing someone else the whole time. Same manipulation games, same suicide threats whenever I tried to end it. I finally got out 4 months ago. Why are you reaching out now? Because I saw her commenting on another guy's posts yesterday. I recognized the pattern. She's hunting again. I figured you deserved to know you weren't the first and probably won't be the last. That shook me. It meant everything with me wasn't personal. It wasn't about our relationship or things I did wrong. It was just who she was. A script she ran on, whoever would fall for it. I thanked Tyler for reaching out. We actually got coffee the following week and compared notes. Turned out there was another guy between him and me, a 6-month relationship that ended the same way. Maya had a type, successful, busy with work, naturally trusting. She'd find guys who had demanding jobs, then use their work commitments as ammunition. The busier you were, the more she could claim neglect. The more you tried to prove you cared, the deeper in you got. Tyler told me something that stuck with me. The cruelest thing she did was make me doubt my own reality. I'd remember conversations one way. She'd swear they happened differently. I'd have proof I texted her back. She'd say I was gaslighting her. By the end, I didn't trust my own memory anymore. I knew exactly what he meant. My work performance had tanked those last 6 months with Maya. I was constantly checking my phone, constantly anxious about missing a message, constantly walking on eggshells. I'd stopped hanging out with friends because it was easier than dealing with the aftermath of abandoning her for a few hours. I'd turned down a promotion because it would mean more travel and more fights. Now, 3 weeks out, I was sleeping better than I had in a year. Final update. It's been 2 months since everything imploded. I got the locks changed, blocked Maya on everything, and started seeing a therapist to unpack the whole experience. Turns out I'd been in a textbook emotionally abusive relationship and hadn't recognized it because the abuser was a petite woman with pretty eyes who cried a lot. My therapist asked me when I first felt like something was off. I told her about 6 months in when Maya threw a fit because I went to my nephew's birthday party instead of staying home to comfort her through a really hard day. I'd offered to skip the party. She'd said no, go, she'd be fine. Then she'd sent me 37 texts over 2 hours about how I'd abandoned her, and when I got home, she wouldn't speak to me for 3 days. That was your first test, my therapist said. She was training you, testing how much you'd tolerate, how guilty she could make you feel, how much of your life you'd sacrifice to manage her emotions. And I'd failed, or passed, depending on how you looked at it. I'd learned to accommodate her, to anticipate her reactions, to shrink my life down to avoid triggering her. Maya tried reaching out once more, about 6 weeks after everything ended. She sent a long email about how she'd been in therapy, how she was working on herself, how she understood now that she had issues with abandonment and was learning healthier ways to communicate. She said she wasn't asking to get back together, just wanted me to know she was sorry for hurting me. I didn't respond. Tyler had warned me. She'll try the reformed angle eventually. Don't fall for it. Even if she is getting help, you're not obligated to be her practice boyfriend while she figures her shit out. Last I heard, Maya was dating someone new. I felt bad for him for about 5 seconds, then remembered he was an adult who'd have to figure it out like the rest of us did. As for me, I'm doing better. Started hanging out with friends again. Picked up hobbies I'd abandoned. Even went on a few dates, though nothing serious yet. I'm not in a rush. For the first time in 2 years, my phone doesn't give me anxiety when it buzzes. That alone feels like freedom. The whole experience taught me that love shouldn't feel like walking through a minefield. It shouldn't require constant proof and validation. It shouldn't make you smaller, and it definitely shouldn't involve fake medical emergencies to test your devotion. I drove like a maniac to that hospital thinking the woman I loved was dying. Instead, I found out she was already dead to me. I just hadn't known it yet. The woman at the spa, laughing with another man while I panicked, wasn't someone I'd lost. She was someone I'd never actually known. And honestly, I'm okay with that now.